the rest of your life. You better stop moving like you're running out. The realization coming over your mind that it should be a conduct. If you could just find the answer, you know it could be a conduct. If you're just a wee bit less of a wanker, more than half of the time. This is the beginning of the rest of your life. You better start grafting, cause you're running out of time. The roof is on fire, it's raining outside, but it should be a contact. If you could just find the answer, you know it could be a contact. If you're just a wee bit less of a wanker, more than half of the time. Because the hardest part of the game isn't even playing the game. It's caring enough to care about the things that you do. Oh, and so we cry and shame. Here comes the rain. This is the beginning of the rest of your life. You better start grafting, cause you're running out of time. The river's on fire, it's raining outside, but it should be a contact. If you could just find the answer, you know it could be a contact. If you're just a wee bit less of a wanker, more than half of the time. They tell you it's no easy, they tell you that it's hard, they tell you it's impossible to mend a broken heart. They'll lead through in a tragedy, pretending that it's art. It's hard to see the finish when you don't know where to start. I could write a stanza and put you in a song, detail all the times when you were right and I was wrong. Flashbacks to the only place I felt like I belong. You'll never be a king when you're acting like a pawn. Because the hardest part of the game isn't even playing the game. It's caring enough to care about playing the game. Oh, it's so we cry and shame. Here comes the rain.
Welcome, 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 one and all to another Where's the Finish Line? This is round 14 here at Monaco, and as the song said, here comes the rain. I have been informed that there is going to be rain in the race. So, we have got a few people out on our laps now. It's kind of like, this is where people are going to be really thinking about what to do. Because the setup for a race in the rain, it's going to be very, very different for a setup out of the rain. Like, so it's already intense enough. It's 39 laps around Monaco, which is an absolutely outstanding circuit. We do have Ian and Andreas in there. There's no rain at the moment, but apparently there's rain in the race. It's all lies. Yeah, maybe. You know what, to be honest, I really want it to rain. So we do have Vista is retired from the session, so I think he's starting at the back. But like this circuit it's one of these circuits that a lot of people who do this esports racing do find this circuit quite tough to be on top of. As we're watching Ian now, he's one of the league owners. Come down here. Now he takes the straight line through into Mason up to Masonette, and it's just one of those straights where people do kink around because of the bump. And what reason behind that is the car lifts a little bit, which means they put a bit of air underneath it that slows the car down. And they can't change that with the way the circuit is being laid out, because of that's an ongoing street that comes into that road that's been raised up, and it's got to raise to match the camber of the incoming streets. So being a street circuit, it's the original street circuit. It's had heritage back to the 1920s, so it is the original. Steeped in history, steeped in amazing moments, but steeped in collisions. And it's like watching Skate Electric. That's the way I find it. When you watch this, like look at Joe Vaughan now at 109, absolutely phenomenal lap time there. We have got Ian with a 111.8 and Shrivatsa on a 112.8. So these are quite broad times, and it's not really anything the drivers can really do. They've just got to push a little bit harder, but not too hard, where they put themselves in the wall. There's so many difficult corners on this circuit, and we're going to go through a few of them in a moment. So it's kind of weird. You did get an echoey sound when the camera's sitting in the tunnel, and it was just quite amazing to hear, because the sound is quite realistic. And as you see, Marshall there, Ian, is pulling over to the side to allow fast approaching drivers to get past them without causing incidents. But the issue is, right, so this is not a circuit where you can really pull to the side. So what you've got to, at many places anyway, so what you've really got to do, you've got to judge your own pace, the drivers behind you, or your pace, and where the next safe stopping zone will be. So you do not want to be caught when you're going through the hairpin, the Casino Square, really, because you can't really pass. And then the approach from St. Devoe up to the Casino Square, it's quite twisty. So if you put yourself on one side, thinking your ass could slow right down here and stay right over to the left, give them all the right. What happens is like you're narrowing the line. When the line switches cross, because the street is not actually straight, it switches left and right. Safe places would be the chicane or the approach to Tabac. That's quite safe. Around Piscine, the two corners on either end of Piscine, it's quite safe. Razcars, if you put it on the far left and put it in deep into the wall, really, you can get out of the way. But then, if you're already at Razcars, you might as well push yourself a little bit further and throw yourself in the pits. So it's definitely a circuit for the ages. Now let's have a look. Who else? So we've got people. So James has done a 111.8. Look at, oh hello. James doing a 111.8 must have clipped that internal wall. I would love to see that footage. So he must have clipped that internal wall and somehow ended up in a safe place. So what we're going to do is, Ross Benjamin, he's our driver that we're going to kind of observe at the moment. So as we know, so we've got 18 minutes of this, and we're going to go through the times in a moment. But let's jump aboard Welsh Benjamin. Let's get rid of all this. We'll just leave lap time on, and it's telemetry. So so here we go down the start straight into Saint Devoe. Saint Devoe being this nice lovely corner here, quite fast sweeping up through Beau Rivage, which is these little kinks here, into Masonette, which then leads into Casino Square. Casino Square leads onto the downhill into Mirabel Hot. That goes round into the Grand Hotel Hairpin, which is probably one of the slowest corners in the entire F1 calendar. That goes into Mirabel Bass. Mirabel Bass down into Portier, and then Portier enters the tunnel. Now this used to be a DRS zone until they realised that it's actually quite dangerous with the speed of some of the cars were coming out of that tunnel. Into the Nouvelle Chicane. That was quite weird. This chicane has had various formats over the years. From that it goes down into this little straight into Tabac. Tabac leads down into the Lewis Chiron. Chiron into the Piscine corners, which is 3 corners into La Rascas. So, sladdy, and he's pulled out. He would have had a respectable time there, but he's pulled out. And then on the last corner that is Anthony knows. As we know, this circuit is steeped in history. It's a circuit that, oh look at that, the strap on is managed to pull a 109.4. So we've got Aaliyah Lee who's out on the circuit right now. So Aaliyah Lee is one of these drivers that has shown that he has potential to be battling for podiums, but it just seems like he seems to have a better qualifying than he does a race usually. But then this could be one of those circuits where he excels at. It's all about the setup. Whether these guys are set up for a race for qualifying, or whether they're going to be setting up for a wet race, it depends on when they believe the race is going to come in. So we've got 3 on that sub 110. So we've got strap on with 109.4. We have Togo Pro on a 109.5 and Jobo on a 109.7. Vor Vital on a 110.1, and then Rapid on a 110.2. Aaliyah Lee with a 111.7. I can tell you straight, that is not his best lap. I really do believe that's far from his best. So Srivatsa with a 110.9 is a very respectable time. It puts himself in that position where he's knocking on the doors here. Razor with a 111.1. Now, watching Aaliyah Lee, and is he going for another lap now? It's one of those circuits that's really tough to get a good outlap, but when you hook up those corners, especially from Tabac all the way down to Vasquez, if you hook it up, it just feels amazing. Now, the Monaco Grand Prix weekend is outstanding. It's absolutely ruthless, but it is also so expensive. So if you're ever going to get a chance to go out there, it's worth it, but take a lot of money. So it's called Monaco because it is in the Principality of Monaco, but the actual location is Monte Carlo. So people don't realise that Monaco is not. It's not just that. It's the fact that it's a very small country. It does have a major city of Monte Carlo and a few other towns in and around Monte Carlo, and it's, people just don't realise that kind of that's the scale of Monaco itself. So they just think of Monaco and they think of the Monaco Grand Prix, they think of the casinos, when actually there's a lot of rolling hills on the outskirts of Monte Carlo. There's a lot. of little villages, little hamlets that are around. So it's a misconception that people call this Monaco when it's actually really the Monte Carlo Grand Prix, really. So the circuit is 3.339, sorry, 3.339 kilometers, which roughly works out to 2.07 miles. 19 corners. It's one of those circuits that you recognise as soon as you see it. You recognise it, you know it. You know how tense it is. Drivers anticipate issues all the way through. So Joe Royle has managed to take the top spot with a 109.401, just 12 thousandths faster. Now, anybody out there, right, who's on it, I think, the original circuit, which is 1.97 miles long. Who held the fastest lap for that? This is right. You got to think the original circuit had no barriers. It was open across the front of the harbour. So anybody in the harbour was they had none of those barriers. It was, if you made a mistake, you were going in the water. So the original circuit, guys, was created in 1929. So the majority of the circuit is still the same, excluding, right, so where the pit lane is the original start finish straight. And where it goes left, right, and Piscine, it never had that. So, right, we've gone board with Joe Royle. Right, apologies. Apologies about that, guys. So, we're not. So we've got a bit of rapid. So everything up until here is pretty much the same. This tunnel did not exist. This was actually built afterwards. It was built over. Coming down here, this never. It was just pretty much straight on. Cars will turn left here, but go straight along the waterfront, not around the swimming pool area. One cut back in, it will stay where those stands are, right along the waterfront. Swing round, and swing round a bit further down, and back up. Obviously built it up, built it in, and it kind of changed the format of the circuit layout. So the Nouvelle Chicane was actually introduced for drivers because of the amount of the times they ended up in the water, or when they put the barriers up, ended up in the barriers. Now, there was also if you actually see some of the old footage, you actually see like old archways, and I do apologise, guys, my controller has died, and I just don't know what I've done with the other one. Here it is. Apologies. So, as well involved with Rapid, who's got a 109.8. These times are just getting better and better. Where's Leah Lee? Lee is just improved with a 111.4, so puts himself into P10, but like, is he going for another one? Do you see that where the car lifts up there? If you go slightly right and then left again to get yourself back on that line, you find that the car won't lift and you'll keep the traction as much as you can. But it's like, so Marshall's put a 111.5, which puts himself into P7 currently at the moment. There's not many people can actually change, so the only two people who could change him right now is Halsey and Alili. Alili has bodged that exit there, but has he got enough momentum in him to actually bring that time down? He's going around Vaz cars now and then hopefully into the Anthony Noah. No, he slid out too much. So, and then Vettel has put a 109.1, absolutely outstanding. So this is what it is. So guys, we've got Vettel on a 109.1, Joe Royal on a 109.4, 12 thousandths. We got Strap on. We have Tom GoPro on 109.5, and then Rapid on a 109.8. Jack on a 110.5, and then just 8 thousandths after behind him is Ian. They are followed closely behind by Savatsa on a 110.6, Reza 110.7, and then we're into with Alili with 111.4, Ross Spencer 111.4, Lil Beaver 111.6, James 111.8, but that was the accident he had. Halsey 111.8. And then it was who's after what? Dovan 112.0, Jay Hartnell 112.1, and then Vista, who never completed a lap, which I do believe that was part of the agreement. We're now moving it into. Let's have a little nosy. So yeah, DNF. Incidents. So Vista terminal damage. So you crash pretty much straight away. James terminal damage. And this is froze. I wonder why it froze. Right, so yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. Now, it's Monaco. We are expecting incidents to happen. We are expecting a lot of issues when it comes down to safety cars and with a bit of rain. Look at that, it's wet! The question I've got now, is this wet all the way through, or is it going to get dry? Now, I do believe the drivers should put on full wets. Looking at those puddles on there, it's symbolising that it's going to be a very, very, very wet track. So... Right, so we're just waiting away for these guys to pick up the setups. Now we do know, with it being a wet race, hopefully they already put their wet setup for the qualifying. Which looking into some of the setup differences on a lot of tracks, there's massive differences. On this, no, on Monaco, there's not that much difference really. So you have less camber and toe for the rain, because you want it to cut through the rain a little bit more easier, and the only way it cuts through the rain easier is with straight camber and less toe. So, like anybody who doesn't know, like camber is the vertical angle of your wheels. So camber with like positive and negative camber. So positive camber is where the top is pointing into the car. Negative camber is when it points out of the car. And we're on 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go. So look on here is showing a very wet race all the way through. And I'm having technical issues. I do apologise, guys. There we go. That's better. That seems to have resolved it. Just had to switch my controller off. So let's have a look. Let's bring up the information that we like. So position change. I do like position change. We'll have telemetry and lap data on. So strap on holding up one place. Who's that? Joe Boyle must have lost out a little bit. And as you can see, like how much those cars slide when they get through into that tunnel. That's when your tyres tend to overheat. The wet tyres tend to overheat at that point. Joe Boyle's really not holding onto that line. Well, he's missing the apexes and he's getting a bit too dragged off. So you need to rein that in, and that was right over the sausage curves there. Not an ideal line, but gets away with it because he had one wheel on the circuit at all times. Not too sure what the idea was to let the car overrun like that. Maybe he was burning off a bit of excess fuel. It is, but then it is a circuit. It's like with the rain, you kind of want to change gear up gear a little bit earlier to reduce the wheel spin. Obviously, you're going to lose engine power doing that, but like, there's someone who's actually, is he playing smart? Is he taking it easy because of how wet it really is? Thinking there might be a mistake up in front. If I start hang back a little bit, I've got more time to react. Small solution, because I think the driver behind him is actually thinking of a similar thing. Ian losing one place to Savazza. He's going to have to work hard to try and get that place back, or try and do it through the tyre strategy. The tyre strategy is not easy. It's very hard to judge it on wet, especially so. You could go for the 2-stop, which is probably the most beneficial for a lot of drivers, but that middle stint is not great. So lap 30, lap 26, then finish. And that's what that is what the 2-stop is. The 1-stop is looking at roughly lap 20. Can you take those tyres to 20 laps? The only way you can take it all the way to that is if you can manage that tunnel section quite well. So let's see how we go along. We have Vettel up on the lead, still holding on with a 2.2 second gap to Strapon, who's got a bit of a gap now to Tom GoPro, who's followed quite closely behind by Vapid. Joe Ross sitting there in and James is out. James is out. Has he retired in the pit or has he crashed? I think he... Look at that, exceeding track limits a lot already. It hasn't updated on the system, but it's looking as if RL James has retired in the pits. Do apologise, guys. For some reason, Yeah, I can't get off this. Right, guys, bear with me one moment. I do apologise. So, technical issue.